What's happening? We're in example 4, chapter 5.2. We're almost there. So now we're mixing paint. Maybe you've done that before, but if you go to Home Depot, they'll do it for you. But you might need to mix paint if you're an artist. Sometimes that helps to mix some different colors. When I get my tattoos, the tattoo artist, he mixes the colors. It's impressive. So you mix 3 pints of yellow paint for every 4 pints of blue paint to make green paint. We know that yellow and blue makes green, right? You use 10 pints of blue paint. How much green paint do you make? So how do we find that out? The ratio of yellow paint to blue paint is 3-4. Use a ratio table to find an equivalent ratio with 10 parts blue paint. Okay, so we have yellow and blue. We know that. 3-4, that's what we start with. Okay. Now, they are dividing by 2 to try to get an even number that goes into 10. So if you divide the bottom number by 2, you divide the top number by 2, and you end up with 3 halves or 1.5. So you see how 1.5 is half of 3. And now in order to get to 10, we multiply times 5. Okay? And then you multiply 3 halves times 5, and you end up with 7.5. Now, I'm not sure why they left this as an improper fraction, but they did. Some of you might see that you can actually multiply 4 times 2.5 to get to 10. It's a little more advanced. And so then you multiply 3 times 2.5 to get 7.5. So I know that's a lot, but this is kind of a roundabout way to get to finding a number that goes into 10 from 4. Okay? So how much green paint do you make? So first you have to take 7.5 pints of yellow and 10 pints of blue, and you end up with 17.5 pints of green. Because when you mix them all together, that's going to give you more green paint. All right, let's look at another one. You mix 2 pints of blue paint for every 5 pints of red paint. So in your chart, your table, you're going to have 2-5, right? Blue to red is 2-5, and you're making purple. You use 18 pints of red. How much purple paint do you make? All right.
You mix 2 pints of blue paint for every 5 pints of red paint to make purple paint. You use 18 pints of red paint. How much purple paint do you make? Begin by creating a table. You know the ratio of blue to red is 2-5. You know that you use 18 pints of red paint. Add the ratio to find purple. Because you only need to know how much purple paint you make, you do not need this box. You find the multiplier from ratio to actual pints to be 18/5. Multiply 7 by 18/5. You will make 25 2/10 pints of purple paint.
Decimals and fractions, I knew those would come in handy at some point. So I'm going to rewind this so you can write that down, because it's important that you know that the multiplier is 18/5. So let's say this was 10. The multiplier would be 10/5, which is actually 2, right? So that's how they can do that. If you have more questions about that, make sure you let me know, because this is going to be the tricky sticking point, I believe. All right, good job. That's it for example 4. I will see you at the mini assessment. Check for that raffle ticket.